not a YouTuber, just like making videos. Now, I normally don't talk about feminism all too much. Maybe I should, but this one video, well, a couple of videos, and one Fem-Byte in particular has caught my attention. Well, she's caught the attention of a lot of YouTubers and the video game industry. So, you know, I don't talk about feminism, I don't talk about video games that much, so I'm going to talk about them both here. So, it's going to be interesting. But, now this female probably has to be the most retorted YouTuber in history. I'm like, so there's so many rebuttals against this female called Anita Sarkeesian, you know, because she was talking about feminism, tropes and trophies in the video game world, the female representations in video games and so forth. Now, she does talk about, you know what I'm saying, other media, other forms of media and their depiction of women. But this particular series has just garnered a whole lot of attention. Now, in no way am I going to defend the realm of video games. I got my gripes against that too. As a matter of fact, I think video games are just a waste of time. You know, I mean, even though I waste my time with them, but I have my own gripes about video games and so forth. But this woman wants $160,000 to complete her research for a slew of videos she's going to release to YouTube or maybe her own website also in conjunction to that. So yeah, that's interesting. $160 to make some damn videos, you know what I'm saying? I make videos for free, you know, and I know how to edit, add music in or whatever. I do research. So this female is an opportunist. But let's and I guess she feels that she needs this money to finance her as she raked through the muck and the mire. So now, if you feel that she has legitimate claims and gripes against the white male or Asian male power video game structure, so therefore you feel that a black man who's griping about our portrayal in the video game industry, you know what I'm saying, is validated. Now I understand that there's just too many pust-faced boys that's going to run to the defense of the video game industry, you know, because they probably that's what they do, sit around and play Call of Duty and these, what's that, you know, these new games they come out with their headsets on. Video game in the industry has been, I'm like, racism is predominant. When people, you know, play online games, you know, and the way blacks are portrayed in video games. Now, I would say women, white women, their roles in video games, they're still, I personally think, you know what I'm saying, it's I don't know what's that word, but I do feel that they're a lot more multi-dimensional, as I say, especially towards, especially when you have black people compared to blacks. Now, I understand that, you know, the majority of the people who buy and play these games are males, and let's look at males, white males and black males. Black people are just, you know what I'm saying, if not being non-existent, you know what I'm saying, we are just you know what I'm saying, misrepresented, you know, and so forth. More so than the white woman, you know. And, you know what I'm saying, let's go back into Anita Sarkeesian's argument there. You know, she talks about, you know, she even delves into the old school. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not an avid gamer. I don't keep up with these new current gen systems. I do acknowledge them. You know what I'm saying, my nephew, you know, last Christmas I bought my nephew an Xbox One, and you know what I'm saying, I do know about games like Halo and this Titanfall, so I'm not oblivious to it. You know what I'm saying, I'm just not into them that much. Why? Because I am a 37-year-old male, and I understand that video games cater to an older audience, but you know, I personally feel that, you know what I'm saying, there's better ways for me to spend my time rather than blister my thumbs and argue with somebody across the country through a fucking headset over an ammunition pack. Okay, so but yeah, Anita, she used such examples that she goes back into the old school, like Donkey Kong, you know, damsels in distress, which is you know what I'm saying, that's a pretty popular narrative in a lot of video games, where the female is completely hopeless and she has to wait for her hero to rescue her. You know, Donkey Kong, you know, Mario jumps over barrels, go through a whole lot of trials, obstacles to get, you know what I'm saying, the object of his affection. And she feels that that's wrong. And now we go on to Miss Pac-Man. Okay, well, you got a female protagonist character here. She's gabbling up all the pellets. She's doing her own thing. But she says that because of what female signifiers, or, you know, or whatever, that the fact that Miss Pac-Man is wearing lipstick and has a bow on her head, that it's somewhat derogatory or stereotypical. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, let's just put a bow on her head and she's a female. I mean, she is very far-reaching here. You know, to go after something like Miss Pac-Man. You know, and if you feel that these are just stereotypical traits, well, you know, I guarantee when I go out here and to the real world, I see females with lipsticks and high heels on and so forth. I'm like, even Anita herself is wearing some sort of lipstick and she's wearing hoop earrings. You know, there's things that women do to pretty themselves, to make themselves look different than their male counterparts. You know, if females didn't pluck their whiskers, shave their legs, you know, put mascara on and all this other stuff, they'll look, you know what I'm saying, women of all genotypes will look very similar to their male counterpart. You know, it's just, you know, how it is. So I wouldn't think that something like that is offensive. And in women, you know what I'm saying, particularly white women in video games, as much as you see the damsel in distress or a female looked as a sexual object, you also see the female warrior. If there's any unrealistic portrayal of women in video games, is that they make females as strong as men sometimes. Physically as strong as a man. Like, there's no disadvantages of choosing a female character over a male character. There's a game called Golden Axe. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brother, we used to just pound on it back when I was in junior high. And the character I used to choose all the time was the female character. And like, there was no drawbacks to having if it wasn't like she was the weakest one, or she can't take a hit if an enemy hit her. You know what I'm saying? Half her life bar is depleted. You know, no, she was just a good character. I'm like, she was fast. She had an array of moves. You know, so, and the same goes for fighting games. You know what I'm saying? There's no disadvantage of choosing Chun-Li in Street Fighter 3. And then there's so many video games like Tomb Raider, where you have Beyond Good and Evil. And you know what I'm saying, there's a slew of them where you are a female protagonist who gotta go out and save the day. And then let's talk about males representation. Like she'll talk about, oh well, females got to be busty and look all a certain way in video games, but this is true also in comic books. Females got perfect bodies, but the same thing goes for men. Most men protagonists in video games are, you know what I'm saying, or look like they fucking pump steroids, you know, square jaw and so forth. Now the thing is with blacks, we spend a lot of money on games just like most Americans. You know, I can understand there's probably more white women in America than black men because we are a quote-unquote minority, which I don't like that term. But per ratio, you know what I'm saying, percentage-wise, I guarantee you more black men play video games than white women. You know, I grew up playing video games. All my black friends played video games. Matter of fact, I've had no black male friends that did not play video games. Sure, some of my friends probably wasn't into them as much as other ones do, or some of them may say I just like sports games, but they played them. We went to the arcade and pumped quarters, and you know what I'm saying, this is my own gripe with the video game industry, is that you don't see that many black characters, especially black main characters. They're too far and few between. And as much money as us black, or much attention that, you know what I'm saying, the black audience give video games. Now I understand video game developers are predominantly white and Asian male, so if black people want to see video games with our faces, we need black video game companies, developers, you know what I mean, software programmers. I understand that. But when I look at the blacks, and you know what I'm saying, African American portrayals in video games, you know, and we're usually in like those games that have such with an urban setting, you know, where you're pummeling through squalid neighborhoods, you know, like Double Dragon, you know, where, you know, it's a beat 'em up game. They're walking through the streets and you may come across a black character you have to beat up, you know, and so forth. In fighting games, you know what I'm saying, where you may have one or two black characters, and a black character is usually a boxer with boxing gloves on. And then you have some games where you may have the main character will be a black person, but he'll be an anti-hero. Let's take Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Yeah, it's a huge game, black protagonist or whatever, but he's what we consider an anti-hero. Doesn't exactly mean he's a bad guy. It just means that, you know what I'm saying, he's gonna do what he has to do to get the job done. You know what I'm saying? He's not an evil person, but you see, like, you get what I'm saying. And then you have the video game Shadow Man, where you have an anti-hero. You know, this guy, it's a video game about voodooism and going into worlds, fighting demons. So I guess they said it was fitting to put a black main character in there, and I think Shadow Man derives from a comic book of that same name. I could be wrong. You know, Shadow Man kind of talks with Eboners or whatever, but that's the kind of characters, you know, we get. We don't get any, you know, like clean cut type, you know what I'm saying, characters or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And Shadow Man was like the first video game I played where they had profanity. Oh wow, first video game, it got black people in it, but it's a whole lot of profanity too. And and that's my own gripes. And then when it comes to black women are they're not represented in video games at all. And there are just numerous video game stereotypes. I have to keep this video short. I just do think that white women's portrayal in video games are is more so well-rounded than blacks. And I'm not saying that that my gripes eclipse hers, but it seems like she's an opportunist, you know, and so forth. But that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching, and sally forth.